Good morning, everybody. January the 7th, 2018. The quote that you just read is what we're going to be talking about today. I'll try to keep this short and sweet and not be the rambler that early riser can be. So basically, everything we're going to talk today revolves around the book titled Flow. And basically the book Flow talks about how to achieve optimal experience, i.e. or aka happiness. And man, y'all know me by now. I don't do a lot of gear conversations, even though I will comment on a lot of people's channels just to give my experience. However, I'm more the mental, physical guy on the trail who tries to offer that because there isn't a lot of that out there on videos. So I'm just trying to fill in that gap, especially for all the 2018 thru hikers who are prepping to go. And whether you're walking the AT or the PCT or the CDT, these concepts here will all factor into your hike. Guarantee I only have experience on the AT. Most of you probably know my background. That's why you're watching this video. But those of you who don't, I thru hiked the AT in 2017. Accomplished it in 113 days. Wasn't trying to go really fast. Just trying to move at a pace that felt comfortable for me. But what I quickly realized, and through all my experiences throughout my life, the mental side was definitely the most challenging. The gear took care of itself. You have plenty of time to whittle that down to what you need. However, if you step on the trail and your mind isn't right and your body isn't right, and those two things mixing together at the beginning, those are the things that'll take you off the trail the fastest, in my opinion. So here we go. So building off the quote, first thing I want to talk about are ways to achieve the optimal experience, aka happiness. So when I say optimal experience, that's just synonymous with happiness. So whatever terms you like the best, just plug that in. If I use one, just plug in the other if you like the other better. So how do you achieve happiness while you're walking the trail? And it's hard, right? There's mornings you're going to wake up and you're going to be ecstatic. You're going to feel great. You can't wait for the day to begin.
All right, y'all, day 32. Yep, look on the ground. Snowed last night. You know what? It's only like 31, 32 degrees. Again, it feels like it's summertime to me. So, no drama. Slept in my tent. Slept great. Feel great. Ready to try to get at least 30 in today.
And by the end of that day, after walking 10, 15, 20, 30 miles, whatever your mileage is for that day, you're going to have already experienced a roller coaster of emotions that entire day.
All right, y'all. So made it past McAfee. I think it's about 27, 28 total for the day. Wore out. Looking for the water. I see it now. It's barely flowing. Yeah, not ideal conditions. The campground's packed. Sucks. Getting water from two rusty pipes, which sucks. But whatever. We're gonna go up there and make the best of it. Get some sleep. Get up. And getting the hell out.
And that's just an example of how those emotions just get away from you. And tips that I can hopefully provide you before you step on the trail, and even coach you through while you're on the trail if you need it, to get you back in the right state of mind so you can have that optimal experience. So a couple of techniques. As I was just saying, pleasant thoughts and focus are easy. Sorry about that. Are easy to accomplish when you feel good and the weather's great, right? So those days where it's 60 and I'm hiking and the weather's good and there's no chance of rain and my feet feel good and my nutrition's just right, no better experience than the trail. But those emotions, like I said, they waver. even on the perfect days. I had plenty of perfect days where the end of that day was the worst day ever. And I had plenty of days where it seems like it should have been the worst day, where it's pouring rain or snowing, and those ended up being the best days. However, we can equalize those emotions out if we have strategies to provide ourselves before things happen, right? If we build the strategies before they happen and can apply them as soon as they start happening, our success rate or our ability to change those outcomes greatly are greatly enhanced.
Quickly talk about something that's on my mind about those moments, especially up front when those first few mountains start beating you down and those questions come into your mind about, is this really something you should be doing? It'd be just easier to go home and get back to what you were doing. Here's the analogy I ask you to think about, especially for all those that are coming up soon, because those thoughts are going to go through your head, I promise you. So put the analogy of, that we all saw growing up, of the good devil and the bad devil sitting on your shoulder, right? That bad devil's got a loud voice of the first 31 miles or more. And that bad devil's basically trying to convince you that what you had was good enough, that what you had made you happy. So instead of trying to ignore the bad devil, like a lot of us strategize to do, I would suggest having a conversation with that guy or girl, if it's a girl in your world, and do some planning, do some long-term planning, and plan out your future when you go back home and you fall back into the same routine you're in now. What does that look like a month from now? What does that look like a year from now? What does that look like 20 years from now? Because you're coming out to the trail, and you came out to the trail, for some of you that are already on it, for a reason. You're here for a reason. The trail calls everybody for different reasons. But what the trail didn't call you to do is come out and then quit. So prepare your body. You got to prepare your mind. And those two in sync will keep that little devil, that little bad devil, quiet. And let the good little devil keep whispering in your ear to keep pushing north. Keep pushing north.
So keep that in mind as we move through this. So we got to figure out the strategies, we just said it, to overcome before they start. So it's the small things can be used to overcome the big challenges. A cup of coffee or tea. You always often saw a lot of people just in the early mornings of their hike, or when things get tough, hey, I'm going to get to the top of this mountain and I'm going to stop and I'm going to make me a cup of coffee. Because that's those pleasurable things that can reset your entire day. And that's what we're talking about really, right? How do you reset your mind back to the positive side of things? Maybe it's a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. That worked for me a lot of times. Maybe it's just eating a Snickers bar or one of your favorite candy bars just to get that diva side away.
Mike, what is your deal, man?
Oh, come on, man. You've been riding me all day.
Mike, you're playing like Betty White out there.
That's not what your girlfriend said.
Baby!
Whoa.
Eat a Snickers. Better?
Better. That hurt.
I love the Snickers commercials, the diva commercials, and it applies so much on the trail. You will be a diva out there many times. So what can you pull out of your backpack, whether it's coffee, Snickers, honey bun, whatever it is, to take that diva back away and put the warrior back inside? And then a lot of times I will touch a blaze on the trail. I'll just go up, fist bump it, just put my hand on it, and just reflect on why am I here. why am I in such a negative mood when I should be having the best time of my life? And it's that simple reflection a lot of times that can pull your emotions back to where they need to be. And I would offer those emotions are like a snowball sitting on top of a giant hill, right? And once it starts rolling, it just gains momentum, and it's just going to go out of control. It's going to get bigger. It's going to get worse. It's going to get more momentum as it screams down that hill. So our goal should be, how do we stop that snowball? How do we arrest its forward movement before it gets going too far down the hill? And we can't stop it.
But I tell you, today's worse than the last time my wife left. So I'm about as close now to having a meltdown in my own way, kind of like you rephrased it. You know, the Matrix got a hold of me, little bad devil's on my shoulder, but we were having conversations, and just going home just doesn't make sense until this journey's complete. But I keep coming back to, well, I'll just have her come pick me up today. I'll get them home safe. I'll buy down a plane ticket and come back up here. They're gonna be fine. I have faith in the universe and my wife. And she's a very smart girl, very strong girl, as all of y'all have pointed out and recognized. But it's tough today. I will tell you what's helping me are these amazing New Jersey views, man. Thank God for them. Today's a tough mental day. Yeah, thoughts of home are strong. It's all good, we're just pressing on, but it wears on you. They come out. It's one of those days. They come about every, I don't know, they're coming more often now. To be honest, man, like, this is what's weighing probably on me the most mentally, is just been walking in water. The trail is so flooded since before Vermont, so it gets aggravating. A lot of ridge walking and just a swamp today. Really isn't too fun or too enjoyable, but you get a view like that and that helps. All right, back to the swamp and the green tunnel. Just got done.
So one of the things I tried to do, and what I would say is, looking back, I didn't do as good as I wish I would have. So I want to offer you some strategies, is just find good in everything, in every moment. How do you do that? Use the phrase "I get to" versus "I have to." This is life-changing. So if I start replacing "I have to do" with "I get to do," it's life-changing. It alters perceptions of everything. And it can, for one of you or two of you, it might be the thing that keeps you on the trail. Get into camp, I set it up, and then I realized, man, the water's a mile away or a half a mile away. And that happened to me several times where I'm walking 0.5 to the water source. So instead of I have to walk to water, man, I get to walk down to that water source, because I should be thankful that there's water there, because I can't survive without it. It is a blessing nature provided that water source for me. Our nature didn't force me out on that trail. I chose to be there. So I also get to choose how I react when things are challenging. I get to go get that water. I get to climb giant mountains like the Kinsman, like that one always sticks out to me in the Whites. That was a brutal day for me, but I got to do it. I didn't have to do it. I could have stopped anytime I wanted to, but I get to do it. And that positivity and putting those little sparks, those little twinges of positive emotions inside your day will change your hike and change the experience. Use a child's mind to rediscover the wonderment of nature and everything around you. What does that mean? Use a child's mind. Or you remember when you were little, and I'll give you an example from my childhood. I remember I was probably 2 or 3, and how I remember this, I don't know, but I used to look at the big tall pine trees in North Georgia. And when it was a cloudy day, I used to think, man, what's going to happen when those trees punch through the clouds? Like, is the sky going to fall? Like, what's going to happen? That's that wonderment of kind of not knowing, of looking at everything and not fully understanding it. Because the problem is, as we get older, we get more knowledgeable, or so we think. But what we do is take the magic away. As you're walking down the trail, I remember many times I would see these big giant oak trees that were just amazing how they lived. Like, when were they conceived? When did they sprout out of their seeds? How long have they been there on the trail? How did they grow so big while the other trees around it didn't make it? I would go up and touch that tree and just look up at it and just sit there and pause in amazement and just wonder how it got there. Those are the little things of using that child's mindset. Look around and just wonder, hey, how is this water flowing out of the side of that mountain? And yes, we can start deciphering it down and breaking it down in the scientific and try to make sense of it. But man, that takes the wonderment out of it. To live in the moment, in the present moment. Again, just question everything, not as a critical questioning, but as a, how did that happen question. And it just keeps you in the present moment and makes everything magical and keeps you in a positive mindset. I hope that makes sense for some of you. I think if some of you will try that, you'll find that it's an amazing technique to live in the moment. Force yourself to laugh when things get the hardest. This is a reality you learn, especially in special operations growing up, and you could say anywhere in the military, because at some point something's going to suck in the military, right? This is just one of those realities that some of my worst times, whether it's patrolling all night and it's freezing and we still have so many miles to go, and then we get around inside a little patrol base and you just look around and you see the misery on everybody's faces, and then you realize, man, I'm not alone in this. Like, this does suck, but everybody's miserable, and that kind of makes it fun. Misery loves company. So one person would just look over and smile at you and you'd start laughing, and then the whole world's right again. Everything's reset, your mind's refocused, and things are good. So if you can figure out ways to do that internally, imagine there's nobody around. You get caught in a rainstorm. You find yourself like I was, post-holing in snow through the whites with nobody around, no clue when the snow's going to stop. Are you going to be out of it to camp that night, or are you going to be walking post-holing in snow all day? Those are the things that if you just can't find the moment to laugh and pull yourself out of it, your mind's going to talk you into doing some or making some decisions that you're going to regret later. So those are little things. Just change the mindset and change how you see things. So that's it. I'm already a little long-winded today. I've got other quotes that we're going to cover in future weeks. But it's those little things, folks, that's going to, especially as you start off in Springer, if you don't prepare that body, your mind's going to have a hard time because your body's going to be hurting so bad. And everybody, you see it every year. This is much harder than I thought it was going to be. That's the phrase you hear every year. And I don't get it personally because you hear it every year. And a lot of folks watch these videos. Folks, it's hard. Whether you know it or whether you're going to like it or not, this is a hard thing that you're about to do. So you got to prepare for it. Get out. Train hard so you can enjoy hard when you get on the trail. I'll say that one more time. Train hard now so you can enjoy hard while you're on the trail. Those little tips will change your hike and give you the optimal experience for your adventure that you're going to launch on here this year or in the future years. All right, y'all, last thing, I will always use my channel for positivity, and if I can bring it to my family, I'm going to do that as well. So my son's working on a project at school, and it's about water in Moore County in North Carolina, and the scarcity and things, the qualities. How do we protect the quality of water in Moore County? Anyway, I won't try to describe it too much because he does it in his research paper or in his website that he created. So their task was, hey, research, give your opinion on it, try to educate the public about it, and then post it somewhere around the community so people can read it and understand. So what I'm going to do is post that link down in the description to the website that he created. And if you could just click on it and go view it and just read what he wrote about it. I don't think it allows you to comments, but at least his teachers will be able to see that, man, it got a lot of views. So I'd appreciate it if you'd do that for me. It'd mean a lot to little ER Junior. And I appreciate all you guys do. Hope you guys have a great week. I'm heading to Philadelphia tonight. I'll be there for approximately 2 weeks up in the frigid cold. So go up there and enjoy some Philly cheesesteaks and you'll be hearing from me soon. And I'll be keeping up with all of you. So stay in the fight, prep hard, train hard so you can enjoy hard. Deuces.